Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. Let that idea sink in for a moment. Every dream you've ever held close, every vision of a better life you've ever imagined, it's waiting on the other side of who you choose to become. And that journey begins with your habits. You see, life has a silent law, one that doesn't bend for anyone. We don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our habits. You can have the biggest dreams, the grandest intentions, and the most detailed vision board on your wall, but if your daily habits don't support them, you'll always find yourself standing in the same place, wondering why success feels so far away. So today, let's talk about something truly life-changing: how to develop habits that attract success. Not habits that merely look productive, not routines that sound impressive on paper, but real, consistent behaviors that turn your life into a magnet for achievement, growth, and peace. 1. Success begins in the invisible moments. Success doesn't start on stage. It starts in silence, early in the morning when no one's watching, or late at night when you're tempted to quit. It's born in those quiet choices that no one claps for. Every successful person you admire, every athlete, entrepreneur, artist, or leader, built their greatness in moments no one saw. While others were sleeping, complaining, or waiting for the right time, they were building habits that later defined their destiny. Ask yourself this: what are you doing in your invisible moments? Because those are the ones that reveal your future. Maybe your success habit starts with a simple act: reading 10 pages a day, journaling before bed, spending 5 minutes in gratitude, or committing to a morning walk. Don't underestimate small beginnings. The smallest consistent action, repeated with discipline, is worth more than the grandest intention never acted upon. 2. Your habits shape your identity. Here's a truth that changes everything: your habits are not just things you do. They are statements about who you are. If you want to change your life, stop saying, "I want to be successful," and start saying, "I am the kind of person who attracts success." This is powerful because your brain follows your identity. When you see yourself as someone who values health, you eat differently. When you see yourself as someone who respects time, you use it wisely. When you believe you are worthy of success, you begin to act like it. Every habit, no matter how small, reinforces your identity. The person who writes for 10 minutes a day becomes a writer. The one who saves a little money each month becomes financially wise. The one who practices gratitude daily becomes peaceful and magnetic. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about doing one thing consistently enough that your identity begins to shift. 3. The compound effect of consistency. One of life's greatest illusions is that change must be dramatic, but success doesn't arrive in a single leap. It compounds quietly over time. Think of it like planting a seed. You water it daily, care for it, and trust the process, even when you see nothing happening. Then one day, the roots have grown deep enough, and the first sprout breaks through the soil. That's how habits work. You won't always see the results right away, but beneath the surface, something powerful is growing. If you go to the gym once, you won't transform your body. But if you go 3 times a week for 6 months, you'll transform your life. If you meditate once, your mind won't suddenly calm. But if you practice it daily, your peace will become unshakable. The key is consistency, not intensity. It's showing up when you don't feel like it, doing the right thing, even when it's hard, and remembering that each small step forward compounds into massive progress over time. 4. Discipline, the bridge between intention and success. Let's be honest, motivation fades. It's exciting in the beginning, but it burns out fast. Discipline, however, stays. Discipline is what carries you through when motivation disappears. There will be days when you don't feel like waking up early, working on your goals, or keeping your promises. Those are the days that define you. When you choose discipline over comfort, you tell the universe, I'm serious about my growth. Discipline may not feel good in the moment, but it always feels right afterward. It builds character, confidence, and self-respect. Start with small wins. If you promise yourself to do something, do it. Not for anyone else, but to keep your word to yourself. Because the more you honor your own word, the stronger your self-trust becomes, and self-trust is the foundation of success. 5. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. Even the strongest willpower can be crushed by a weak environment. If you're trying to build new habits, surround yourself with people, spaces, and systems that support them. Want to eat healthier? Keep better food in your kitchen. Want to read more? Keep a book on your desk instead of your phone. Want to stay positive? Limit time with those who drain your energy and seek those who lift your spirit. You can't expect to thrive in an environment that contradicts your goals. The energy around you matters. Build an environment that whispers encouragement even when you feel weak. 6. The power of reflection and renewal. Developing success habits isn't just about doing more. It's also about thinking deeper. Reflection is the art of learning from your own life. Take time each week to pause and ask yourself, what worked for me this week? What drained my energy? What can I do differently tomorrow? When you reflect, you become conscious of your direction. You stop running in circles and start walking toward purpose. And in those moments of reflection, remember to celebrate your progress. Too many people punish themselves for what they haven't done instead of appreciating how far they've come. Gratitude fuels growth. 7. Replace excuses with ownership. We all have reasons why things are hard. We all face setbacks, distractions, and disappointments. But the moment you take ownership, truly take responsibility for your life, something miraculous happens. Power returns to your hands. Excuses may protect your pride, but they also protect your limits. Ownership, on the other hand, opens every door. When you say, "This is my life, and I'm responsible for it," you shift from victim to creator. You begin to see that life doesn't just happen to you. It responds to you. Every successful person has faced hardship, but they made a choice to use the pain as fuel instead of an anchor. So whatever's holding you back, fear, doubt, failure, acknowledge it, learn from it, and then move forward. 8. Feed your mind the right thoughts. Your mind is a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds. What you plant daily determines what grows. If you constantly tell yourself, "I can't do this," your mind believes it. But if you say, "I'm capable, I'm learning, I'm growing," your brain begins to find ways to make it true. Success starts with the thoughts you allow to stay. So, protect your mental space. Feed it inspiration through books, mentors, and positive voices. Starve it of negativity, comparison, and self-doubt. Because what you focus on expands. 9. The habit of gratitude and service. True success isn't just about achievement. It's about fulfillment. Gratitude transforms what you have into enough, and service turns your success into significance. When you make gratitude a daily habit, your perspective changes. You stop chasing happiness and start attracting it. When you help others, you multiply your purpose. The world has a beautiful way of rewarding those who give without expecting. So, every day, find something to be grateful for, and find a way to give back, even in small ways. That's how you attract joy, opportunity, and abundance. 10. The final thought: your future is not written yet. It's being shaped by what you do today. Every choice you make, every thought you nurture, every small habit you build, it all adds up to the life you're creating. You don't have to wait for success to find you. You can become the kind of person success is drawn to. The kind of person whose habits, discipline, and mindset naturally attract great things. So, start today. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait for more motivation. Just begin. With one habit, one act of self-respect, one decision to grow. And remember this: you become what you repeatedly do. Make sure what you do reflects the person you want to be. Success is not something that appears in your life by accident. It's not luck, fate, or a gift reserved for a chosen few. Success is a magnetic force, something you attract through the kind of person you become. The more you grow, the stronger that magnetic pull becomes. When you build the right mindset, the right habits, and the right energy, success begins to find its way to you naturally, almost effortlessly. It's no longer about chasing opportunities. It's about aligning yourself so deeply with your purpose that opportunities begin to chase you. Think about it when you spend your energy running after things: people, recognition, wealth. You are operating from a place of lack. You're saying to the universe, "I don't have this yet, and I need to get it." But when you focus instead on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts those things, you move from scarcity to abundance. You become a magnet. You stop asking for success to find you, because you've already built yourself into someone it cannot ignore. Every truly successful person has discovered this truth in their own way. They didn't rise to greatness because they begged for it, chased it, or forced it into existence. They rose because they transformed themselves into the kind of people who belong in the space they were reaching for. Their confidence, their discipline, their consistency, those weren't reactions to success, those were the reasons for it. The process of becoming magnetic starts within. It's not about impressing others, showing off progress, or pretending to be farther ahead than you are. It's about inner alignment, getting your thoughts, beliefs, and actions to point in the same direction. When your inner world becomes clear, your outer world begins to reflect it. If you believe in your value, you act differently. If you trust in your abilities, you speak differently. If you operate with purpose and integrity, you attract people and situations that vibrate on that same frequency. So many people spend their lives chasing outcomes: more money, better relationships, recognition, status. But chasing creates exhaustion. It keeps you running, always reaching but never arriving. The truth is, success is not a destination at all. It's a mirror. It reflects what you consistently embody. When you take care of your habits take care of your results. When you take care of your character attracts opportunities you don't even have to ask for. There is a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're doing the right things, even when no one is watching. You stop worrying about how fast things are happening because you trust that growth takes time. You realize that success isn't about being noticed. It's about being prepared. And when preparation meets opportunity, people will call it luck, but you'll know it was attraction. If you want to attract success, focus less on the finish line and more on your foundation. Build yourself into someone whose thoughts, words, and actions align with what you want to receive. Be the kind of person who is disciplined when others give up, grateful when others complain, focused when others drift, because when you rise to that level of awareness and integrity, you don't need to chase success anymore. It can't help but find you. It's easy to believe that success is born from one big breakthrough, one bold move, one massive leap. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Success grows out of the small, consistent actions you take every single day. It's built quietly, in the background of your life, through routines that often seem ordinary. The way you spend your mornings, the thoughts you entertain, the promises you keep to yourself. These are the invisible architects of your destiny. Every great transformation begins with something small. A decision, a single step. The person who decides to read for 10 minutes instead of scrolling aimlessly. The one who chooses to wake up 15 minutes earlier to plan the day. The one who practices gratitude before complaining. These little moments might not look impressive from the outside, but when repeated consistently, they reshape your entire life. Small habits compound like interest, slowly, quietly, and inevitably. Think of your habits as seeds. You plant them in the soil of your daily life. You water them through consistency. And even if you can't see the roots forming beneath the surface, something powerful is happening. Over time, those roots grow deep, and suddenly, what was once invisible begins to bloom in ways you never imagined. But here's the catch. Most people give up before the roots take hold. They mistake slow progress for no progress. They forget that greatness takes time. When you look at someone who seems to have achieved success effortlessly, remember this: you're seeing the harvest, not the planting season. You're witnessing the result of small, disciplined actions repeated over months, years, or even decades. Every morning they showed up. Every evening they reflected. Every time they failed, they tried again. The daily grind that nobody applauds. That's where true success is born. We often underestimate how much small things matter. Skipping one workout doesn't seem like a big deal. Spending a few minutes on your phone instead of working on your dream feels harmless. But habits don't disappear, they multiply. One skipped workout can easily become a week of neglect. One small compromise can grow into a pattern that shapes your life. Success and failure are both the results of accumulation. Tiny choices stacked on top of each other until they create a reality. That's why building small, powerful habits is more important than chasing motivation. Motivation fades, habits remain. The key is to design your life in a way that makes the right actions automatic. Create systems that make success easy to repeat. For instance, if you want to write more, set up your workspace so it invites creativity. If you want to exercise, lay out your clothes the night before. Structure your environment to support the future you're building. And most importantly, celebrate your small wins. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your self-respect. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you build resilience. These moments may seem insignificant, but they're transforming you from the inside out. Over time, your confidence grows, your discipline sharpens, and your results begin to reflect the person you've become. Remember, success isn't created in a single day. It's created daily. The small habits you build today are silently constructing the version of you that will walk confidently into your dreams tomorrow. Your habits are not just patterns of behavior, they are reflections of who you believe yourself to be. Every decision you make, every routine you keep, every action you repeat, it all tells a story about your identity. Most people try to change their lives by focusing on outcomes. They say, I want to lose weight, or I want to be successful, or I want to be disciplined. But lasting change never begins with what you want. It begins with who you think you are. When your habits and your identity align, transformation becomes effortless. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, you will unconsciously act in ways that prove it true. If you believe you're lazy, you'll find reasons to avoid effort. But the moment you start to see yourself differently, as someone capable, determined, and consistent, your behavior begins to shift naturally. This is because identity drives action. You act in alignment with who you believe you are, even when no one is watching. Think about a simple example, a person trying to quit smoking. The difference between saying, I'm trying to quit, and I don't smoke, is enormous. The first statement still identifies with the habit. The second one creates a new identity entirely. In that shift, the struggle becomes smaller because the action now flows from who the person believes they are. The same principle applies to success, discipline, health, or any goal you can imagine. When you decide who you are, your habits follow that decision. This is why it's not enough to just set goals. You must also set an identity that supports those goals. If you want to be financially free, start thinking like someone who values discipline and long-term growth. If you want to get fit, see yourself as an athlete in training. If you want to become a leader, embody the calm, decisive confidence of someone who leads. You don't wait for results to believe it. You start believing first, and the results follow. The problem is that many people wait for proof before they believe in themselves. They wait until they see success before they start identifying as successful. But that's backward. Belief must come before evidence. You must begin to act as if, not pretending, but practicing the version of yourself you're growing into. Each time you show up in alignment with that identity, you strengthen it. Each repetition becomes a vote for the person you want to be. Your habits are those votes. They're small declarations of identity. When you choose to read instead of scroll, you're casting a vote for being a learner. When you choose to work out instead of giving in to excuses, you're voting for being disciplined. When you speak kindly instead of reacting harshly, you're voting for being emotionally mature. Each choice, though small, builds evidence that reinforces your new self-image. And here's the beauty of it. Once your habits and identity are in harmony, discipline no longer feels forced. It becomes natural. You don't have to push yourself endlessly, because your actions flow from your sense of self. You're not pretending to be someone else. You're simply becoming who you were meant to be. Consistency is the quiet force behind every extraordinary achievement. It is the difference between someone who dreams and someone who succeeds. Most people overestimate what they can do in a single day and underestimate what they can accomplish over months and years of steady effort. The reality is that greatness is rarely the result of one dramatic act. It is the accumulation of repeated actions, performed with dedication and focus over time. Every small step taken consistently creates momentum that compounds into remarkable outcomes. Consider the analogy of a river carving a canyon through solid rock. No single drop of water could ever make a noticeable dent, yet over years of relentless, consistent flow, the river shapes the landscape. Your efforts operate in much the same way. Each day you show up, no matter how small or mundane the action may feel, you are slowly carving your own path toward success. The key is not speed or intensity. It is persistence and repetition. Consistency transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary results. It is not about perfection or doing everything flawlessly. It is about showing up when it matters most, even when motivation fades or circumstances are less than ideal. There will be days when you feel tired, distracted, or unmotivated, but these are the days that define you. Success is forged in those moments when you choose to continue despite discomfort, uncertainty, or temporary setbacks. Each decision to act in alignment with your goals, even when it is difficult, reinforces a mindset of reliability, resilience, and self-trust. The principle of consistency also applies to mindset. A single inspirational thought or burst of motivation will not sustain change. What sustains growth is the consistent feeding of your mind with knowledge, positive beliefs, and empowering perspectives. Daily reflection, learning, and conscious attention to your mental state are habits that compound over time, shaping not only your actions, but your perception of what is possible. The mind, like the body, responds to regular, disciplined practice, and the results manifest in both confidence and capability. It is crucial to understand that consistency does not require grand gestures or dramatic transformations overnight. It requires small, deliberate, and repeatable actions performed with focus. Whether it is dedicating 30 minutes to reading, practicing a skill, exercising, or journaling, what matters most is the rhythm of repetition. Over weeks, months, and years, these seemingly modest practices accumulate, creating a foundation so solid that your success becomes inevitable. Consistency also builds trust in yourself and in your abilities. Each time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how minor, you are strengthening the bridge between your intentions and your results. This self-trust becomes a source of inner confidence, empowering you to tackle larger challenges with clarity and determination. Over time, the habit of showing up consistently becomes second nature, removing the need for constant self-persuasion or external motivation. When you embrace the power of consistency, you understand that success is not a product of occasional brilliance, but of steady, purposeful effort. Each day, each choice, each action contributes to a larger pattern of growth that no temporary obstacle can undo. Consistency, more than talent or opportunity, is the true differentiator between those who dream and those who achieve. Discipline is often misunderstood as a form of restriction or sacrifice, but in reality, it is the foundation of true freedom. It is the force that allows you to live life on your own terms, rather than being a slave to fleeting impulses, distractions, or external circumstances. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who achieve, those who react to life from those who create it. It is the silent strength that carries you forward when motivation fades and challenges arise. Many people wait to feel motivated before taking action, but motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes with your emotions, energy, and external circumstances. Discipline, however, does not depend on how you feel. It is the commitment to do what needs to be done, even when it is uncomfortable, inconvenient, or tiring. It is the internal agreement to honor your own word, to keep promises to yourself, and to take consistent action regardless of the conditions around you. When you develop discipline, you no longer rely on external forces to push you. You push yourself, and that is a source of unmatched empowerment. Discipline transforms ordinary routines into extraordinary outcomes. It allows you to follow through on your intentions, day after day, until the results manifest. The person who writes every morning, exercises consistently, or studies for a set period daily is not relying on bursts of inspiration. They are relying on discipline. Over time, these small, disciplined actions compound, creating results that seem almost miraculous to the outside observer, but are simply the natural consequence of repeated effort and self-control. True discipline also builds resilience. Life will inevitably throw challenges, distractions, and temptations your way. Without discipline, it is easy to give in, delay, or abandon your goals. With discipline, you create a structure that supports perseverance. It allows you to navigate difficulties with clarity and focus because you have trained yourself to act regardless of emotional states or external pressures. You no longer need to wait for the perfect moment or the right mood to act. Discipline gives you the power to act consistently, which is the real engine of progress. Discipline also shapes character. Each act of self-control strengthens your sense of identity and personal integrity. When you do what is difficult, what is necessary, and what aligns with your values, you build confidence, self-respect, and inner authority. These qualities become the invisible force that attracts opportunities, people, and success into your life. People are naturally drawn to those who can manage themselves, who follow through, and who operate from a place of consistency and reliability. It is important to understand that discipline is not about harshness or deprivation. It is about alignment. It is the alignment of your actions with your goals, values, and long-term vision. It allows you to prioritize what matters most over what is easy, urgent, or tempting in the moment. Discipline is freedom because it frees you from the chaos of impulsivity, indecision, and inconsistency. The more disciplined you become, the more control you have over your life, your outcomes, and ultimately, your destiny. When you embrace discipline as a daily practice, you unlock a power that no motivation, talent, or opportunity can replace. It becomes the bridge between your intentions and your achievements, transforming your potential into reality. Through discipline, you learn that true freedom is not doing whatever you want. It is doing what must be done every day until your goals are no longer dreams but your living reality. Your environment has a profound influence on who you become and what you achieve. It is often said that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with, but it goes even deeper than that. Every element of your surroundings, from the people you interact with, to the spaces you inhabit, to the media you consume, subtly shapes your thoughts, your beliefs, and ultimately, your actions. If you want to attract success, you must carefully craft an environment that supports your goals, rather than one that works against them. Consider how easy it is to be pulled off course by negativity. A single toxic conversation, a demoralizing workspace, or constant exposure to pessimistic news can quietly erode your confidence and focus. Your mind absorbs these influences, often without conscious awareness, and your energy begins to shift toward doubt, hesitation, and distraction. The environment around you either reinforces your best self or feeds your worst tendencies. Success does not emerge in a vacuum. It emerges in an environment that encourages, challenges, and sustains your growth. It's not just people or spaces. It's systems and routines as well. If your home, office, or daily schedule is disorganized, inconsistent, or chaotic, it creates friction that slows down your progress. Success thrives in order and structure. By designing systems that remove friction and make the right choices easy, you create an environment where your best self can consistently show up. Simple actions, such as keeping your workspace organized, scheduling focused blocks of time for important work, or setting reminders for key tasks, build a framework that silently supports your ambitions. Equally important is the company you keep. The people around you set the tone for your mindset, energy, and habits. Being surrounded by ambitious, disciplined, and positive individuals lifts you to higher levels because their energy becomes contagious. Conversely, spending time with those who are negative, complacent, or critical can limit your growth and drain your motivation. Choose relationships that inspire, challenge, and hold you accountable, and you will find that your environment naturally propels you toward success. Even small details matter. The books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the conversations you engage in, and the media you consume shape your thoughts and expand, or constrict, your perspective. Environments that cultivate curiosity, learning, and growth act as a constant source of fuel for your ambitions. They reinforce the habits and mindset necessary to reach your goals. It's important to realize that creating a supportive environment requires intentionality. It is not something that happens by chance. You must actively assess your surroundings, remove what holds you back, and introduce elements that empower you. When you take control of your environment, you take control of your life. You are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. Instead, you create a space that nurtures your vision, energizes your efforts, and strengthens your resilience. By cultivating an environment that aligns with your goals, you give yourself the greatest possible advantage. The right environment amplifies your actions, strengthens your habits, and enhances your mindset. It silently supports you every day, making success not just possible, but inevitable. The world responds to the energy you surround yourself with, and by shaping that energy intentionally, you position yourself to thrive in ways that would be impossible in a neutral or toxic environment. Reflection is one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked, tools for personal growth and lasting success. Most people move through life on autopilot, responding to circumstances without pausing to examine their actions, choices, or mindset. They make the same mistakes repeatedly, wondering why progress seems elusive. Reflection, however, allows you to step back and see the patterns of your life clearly. It gives you the perspective to understand what is working, what is holding you back, and what adjustments are necessary to move closer to your goals. Without it, even the hardest work can become aimless and inefficient. The process of reflection begins with asking yourself the right questions. What decisions this week brought me closer to my goals? Where did I waste energy or time? How did I respond under pressure, and how can I improve next time? By examining your actions with honesty and clarity, you identify the habits, thoughts, and choices that contribute to your success, as well as those that undermine it. Reflection is not self-criticism. It is a disciplined, objective observation of yourself, a way to learn and grow from experience rather than repeating the same errors unconsciously. Reflection also strengthens self-awareness, which is essential for making intentional progress. The more you understand your tendencies, triggers, strengths, and weaknesses, the better equipped you are to navigate challenges and make decisions that align with your long-term vision. It transforms life from a series of random events into a coherent narrative where every action has purpose and direction. Self-awareness, gained through reflection, allows you to harness your energy more effectively, focus on high-impact activities, and maintain clarity even when the demands of life feel overwhelming. Another critical aspect of reflection is recognizing progress, even when it feels slow. Many people focus solely on what they haven't achieved yet, overlooking the incremental steps they've already taken. By regularly reflecting on accomplishments, both big and small, you reinforce confidence, resilience, and motivation. Celebrating these milestones is not vanity, it is a recognition that consistent effort produces tangible results, even if those results take time to fully manifest. Gratitude for your progress enhances your ability to continue growing and fuels the mindset necessary for sustained achievement. Reflection also creates space for planning and strategic thinking. When you step back from the daily grind, you gain a broader perspective on the direction of your life. This allows you to make informed adjustments, set more effective priorities, and ensure that your habits and actions align with your ultimate vision. Without reflection, it's easy to drift, reacting to immediate circumstances rather than proactively shaping your future. Reflection transforms reactive behavior into intentional, goal-oriented action. Finally, reflection fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable and setbacks are inevitable. Taking time to reflect on failures and challenges allows you to extract lessons instead of simply feeling defeated. It turns obstacles into opportunities for growth and strengthens the mindset required to persevere through difficulties. By examining both successes and failures with equal attention, you cultivate a deeper understanding of yourself and the processes that lead to consistent achievement. When reflection becomes a habitual part of your life, it acts as a compass, guiding every choice, action, and habit. It transforms experiences into wisdom, mistakes into lessons, and progress into a deliberate, unstoppable march toward your goals. In this way, reflection is not just an occasional practice. It is a daily discipline that shapes the trajectory of your entire life. Taking ownership is one of the most transformative decisions you can make in life. It is the moment you stop blaming circumstances, other people, or the unpredictability of the world for where you are, and instead accept full responsibility for your actions, choices, and outcomes. Ownership is not about self-blame or guilt. It is about reclaiming your power. When you take ownership, you stop waiting for permission, luck, or external validation, and begin to actively shape your own destiny. It is the difference between being a passive observer of your life and being its deliberate architect. Many people live their lives reacting to events rather than shaping them. When something goes wrong, they look for someone to blame, a reason to justify an action, or a way to avoid accountability. While excuses may provide temporary relief or protect the ego, they simultaneously limit growth and success. Excuses are comfortable, but they keep you small. Ownership, on the other hand, is challenging. It requires honesty, courage, and the willingness to face the truth. But it also opens doors that excuses will forever keep closed. Ownership transforms how you respond to setbacks. Challenges and failures are inevitable in any journey, but the person who takes responsibility approaches them differently. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" they ask, "What can I learn from this, and what can I do differently next time?" This mindset creates resilience and fosters continuous improvement. Each obstacle becomes an opportunity to grow, each mistake a lesson in strategy, patience, or perspective. By taking ownership, you turn adversity into a teacher rather than a roadblock. Taking ownership also strengthens self-trust and confidence. When you accept responsibility for your decisions, you develop a deep understanding that your life is a direct reflection of your choices. This realization empowers you to take bold actions because you no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstances. You recognize that the path to success is paved with your own efforts, and that every decision you make contributes to the trajectory of your life. The more you practice ownership, the more capable and confident you become in your ability to influence outcomes. Another powerful effect of ownership is its impact on your relationships and professional life. People naturally respect those who take responsibility because it signals integrity, reliability, and strength of character. Leaders, mentors, and collaborators are drawn to individuals who do not shy away from accountability. Owning your actions, both successes and failures, builds credibility and positions you as someone capable of handling responsibility under pressure. This, in turn, attracts opportunities, trust, and support from others who recognize your maturity and self-discipline. Ownership also changes the way you think about goals. Instead of passively hoping for results, you focus on actionable steps you can take to move forward. You stop waiting for perfect timing, ideal circumstances, or external permission. You embrace proactive problem-solving, innovation, and initiative. Each choice you make with ownership in mind becomes a deliberate act of creation, a building block toward the life you want to lead. Ultimately, taking ownership is a declaration of empowerment. It is the conscious decision to stop giving your power away and start taking control of your life. When you adopt this mindset, you no longer react to the world. You shape it. You no longer wait for success to find you. You earn it, create it, and attract it through your deliberate choices and actions. Ownership transforms potential into reality, challenges into growth, and intention into achievement. The thoughts you allow to occupy your mind have a profound impact on the reality you create. Every belief, assumption, and idea you entertain becomes a lens through which you perceive the world, shaping not only how you act, but also what you attract into your life. Too often, people underestimate the power of their own thinking. They fill their minds with doubts, negativity, or distractions, and then wonder why their lives feel stagnant or unfulfilled. To attract success, you must become intentional about the thoughts you cultivate and the mental environment you inhabit. Your mind is like fertile soil, and your thoughts are the seeds. If you constantly dwell on fear, limitation, or self-doubt, those are the seeds that take root and grow. But if you consciously plant thoughts of possibility, growth, and confidence, you create a mental ecosystem that supports achievement and resilience. The act of directing your mind is not about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about choosing to focus on the perspectives, beliefs, and interpretations that empower you to act and to thrive. One of the most impactful ways to cultivate productive thoughts is through self-awareness. Observe the internal dialogue that runs in your mind. Notice the recurring themes, the stories you tell yourself, and the mental habits that shape your responses. Many people unconsciously reinforce limiting beliefs through repetitive self-talk. Statements like, "I'm not ready," "I'll never succeed," or "this is too hard," act as anchors that hold you back. By recognizing these patterns, you gain the ability to consciously replace them with affirmations, perspectives, and narratives that align with your desired outcomes. The quality of your thoughts directly influences your actions. If you believe in your capability, you take bold steps. If you doubt yourself, hesitation and fear dominate. The way you think determines how you approach problems, interact with others, and persist through challenges. Thoughts act as the blueprint for your behavior, and behavior is what produces results. This is why cultivating a positive, growth-oriented mindset is not optional. It is essential for achieving meaningful success. Feeding your mind with empowering input is equally critical. The books you read, the media you consume, and the conversations you engage in all contribute to the mental energy that shapes your daily decisions. Surround yourself with ideas that inspire learning, resilience, and ambition. Avoid the mental clutter that saps your energy or reinforces fear. The more you intentionally expose yourself to perspectives that expand your thinking, the more your own thoughts will evolve to support progress. Consistency in this practice is key. Just as habits compound over time to produce tangible outcomes, the thoughts you repeatedly nurture shape the long-term trajectory of your life. Daily reflection, meditation, journaling, or focused reading can train your mind to prioritize clarity, optimism, and purpose. Over time, these mental disciplines create an inner environment that naturally attracts opportunities, solutions, and success. Your thoughts are the unseen architecture of your life. By consciously choosing what you allow to take root in your mind, you gain control over your actions, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny. The energy you project outward, shaped by the quality of your inner dialogue, becomes the magnet that draws experiences, people, and opportunities into your orbit. By protecting and directing your thoughts, you are actively shaping the life you want to live, ensuring that what you attract is a reflection of the mind you cultivate each day. Gratitude and service are two of the most powerful forces that shape a life of fulfillment and lasting success. While many people pursue achievement and wealth with intensity, they often overlook the importance of cultivating appreciation for what they already have and extending value to others. Gratitude is not simply a fleeting emotion or a polite gesture. It is a deliberate practice that transforms perception, rewires the mind, and opens the door to abundance. When you consistently recognize the blessings, lessons, and opportunities in your life, you shift your focus from scarcity to possibility. This shift changes the energy you carry, the decisions you make, and ultimately, the outcomes you attract. The practice of gratitude trains the mind to see value in every situation, even those that appear challenging. Instead of dwelling on what is lacking or what went wrong, a grateful mindset emphasizes learning, growth, and opportunity. This perspective allows you to approach obstacles with resilience rather than frustration, setbacks with curiosity rather than despair, and relationships with appreciation rather than entitlement. By making gratitude a daily habit, you reinforce a sense of inner abundance, which radiates outward and attracts more of what you value. Service amplifies the impact of gratitude. When you extend your time, energy, or resources to help others, you create a ripple effect that elevates not only those around you, but also yourself. Service is the practical application of empathy, generosity, and purpose. It shifts attention away from self-centered concerns and creates a connection between your success and the well-being of others. People who consistently serve cultivate trust, respect, and loyalty, which in turn opens doors to opportunities that would otherwise remain inaccessible. Service transforms achievements into significance, turning personal gains into meaningful contributions that enrich both your life and the lives of others. The combination of gratitude and service also reshapes how you perceive success. True success is not merely measured by wealth, status, or accomplishments. It is measured by the positive impact you have, the relationships you nurture, and the growth you experience along the way. Gratitude deepens your awareness of what you already possess, while service ensures that your progress benefits more than just yourself. Together, these practices create a cycle in which appreciation fuels action, action generates influence, and influence amplifies impact. Incorporating gratitude and service into daily life requires intentionality. Start with simple, consistent actions. Take a few moments each morning to reflect on what you are grateful for, acknowledge the contributions of those around you, and look for small ways to help or uplift others. Over time, these practices become habits that define your character and influence your environment. They transform ordinary routines into rituals of empowerment, making every interaction and decision an opportunity to attract abundance and foster growth. A life guided by gratitude and service becomes magnetic. The energy you emit, grounded in appreciation and generosity, draws opportunities, people, and circumstances aligned with your vision. Challenges become manageable, relationships flourish, and achievements gain deeper meaning. By embracing these principles, you cultivate not only external success but also inner fulfillment, creating a life that is rich in purpose, impact, and joy. Thank you for listening to Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. May today's message inspire you to rise, to grow, and to build the kind of habits that make success inevitable. Because greatness is not a coincidence, it's a habit. Until next time, keep growing, keep believing, and keep becoming the person success can't resist.